The United States women's soccer team took home the bronze medal after a high-scoring match against Australia this morning. 4-3 is your final. Both Megan Rapinoe and Carly Lloyd found the back of the net 2 times for Team USA, what could be their final game ever in that kit. Lloyd continues to be the all-time leading scorer in Olympic history, first player in USWNT history to score in 4 Olympics. She's second in international caps. And as you take a look at the women's national team's results since 2005, they've won 2 World Cups, 2 Olympic golds, but there's been some disappointment, which includes 2016 not medaling in Rio, and some disappointment in many's eyes for this bronze medal. Let's say good morning to 2-time gold medal winner Allie Wagner, a soccer analyst, joining us here on CBS Sports HQ. So it is bronze, Allie, at the end of the day, at the end of the tournament. A year from now, 4 years from now, how do you think we'll remember this particular Olympic cycle for Team USA?
You know, I think the Olympic run was disappointing for this group, and I think it stings now. I think it will a year from now. I think 4 years from now, and I think that this tournament was a bit of a shock to a lot of people coming in. The team was flying high, and then never really showed up. So I don't think they're going to be happy or pleased with picking up a bronze medal. Yes, it's a medal, but this team shoots for gold, and to them, this will be coming up short in failure.
So when we take a look at this particular group, obviously Carly Lloyd, Megan Rapinoe, both finding the back of the net multiple times. Rapinoe with an Olympico from the corner there. Allie, what about this particular group, possibly the end of an era here for women's soccer?
Yeah, I mean, it seems fitting, right, that Megan Rapinoe gets a brace, Carly Lloyd gets the brace in this bronze medal match, and that USWNT did not use any of the newer faces in the squad. Katarina Macario didn't even dress. I think he knows that perhaps some of these players are on their way out, and he was giving them all their potentially last minutes in a competitive match. You saw Alex Morgan sub in the last 10 minutes. And this is not to say that any of them have announced their retirements or that they are retiring indeed, but you would absolutely think that Carly Lloyd, Megan Rapinoe, 2 of those names will be moving on their way. Kelly O'Hare is another one I would add to that list. You know, and when you look at that generation of talent, you think back to the Mia Hamm, Brandi Chastain, what they were able to accomplish, how they were able to captivate a nation. Well, that was a tough act to follow, but this group certainly did that. They stepped up. They won 2 World Cups and Olympics. And they did more than that. They started to garner a lot of attention, of course, on social media, but they've been part of an NWSL league that has been sustainable here in the U.S., and they pushed for, equal pay, equal rights for women across all sectors. And so what they've done on the social side, what they've done in the game in terms of entertainment and the talent and the grit and the fight that we've seen is maybe something that we won't see again. But I do think with this program, the United States program, the expectation is that next generation picks up the torch and goes in the same direction. But I will say that this was a special group of players, a special group of talent. And yes, they came up short in this tournament, winning bronze, but I think you had to give them this last run out. I know there'll be a lot of people asking questions about whether this squad was too old. But coming in, I don't think that it would have necessarily been the right decision to leave these players at home. And yeah, they didn't have enough in the tank to get it done. But ultimately, I think everyone needs to look on this generation with a lot of appreciation for what they were able to accomplish and the conversations that they were able to have us have as a society.
You bring up social media. Now, we know Twitter's not the best place to crowdsource topics and theories and information, but for the first time, I think in today's bronze medal match, people were saying this is like the women's national team that we're accustomed to seeing. We saw that play out against Australia. You bring up a few points. You and I have had conversations about this team that was nearing average age of 31 years old. You didn't think it had to do as much with age, with maybe hunger for the veterans out there. Moving forward for Vlatko Andonovski and this crew, what do you think needs to change? What do you think needs to improve? We saw Lynn Williams, of course. Allie, what do you think?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things to focus in on. First of all, long gone are the days that this United States team wins the game before we step out on the pitch. That fear of us is simply gone, as it should be, because the other teams are progressing and they know that they can play different styles, they can play different tactical systems against us. That wasn't the case before. So, I think we have to be prepared in a way that maybe we haven't been in the past. We can't just rely on our pressing game. And as much as I know people are taking to Twitter saying that, yeah, this was the U.S. we're looking for, and sure, there were glimpses of that. I think the game, this bronze medal game, was actually full of errors from both sides, and both teams capitalized in those moments. So a lot to clean up. I think, besides that hunger factor and maybe this team being a bit complacent at this stage, that obviously will shift as you start to bring in new faces. But I also think, tactically, we have to be more nuanced. I think we're a bit too predictable, and teams knew exactly what to expect. I think when you look at the friendly matches that we had coming into this tournament, usually we're the ones that figure out our opponent, shift, and get better the next time we face them. The opposite was true, I felt like, coming in. And so I think tactically we're going to have to make adjustments, and then we're going to have to bring in new players. Katarina Macario was someone that was rostered for this. Sophia Smith was a player that a lot of people have their eye on. She's tearing up in the NWSL. Trinity Rodman, another name that I know is being tossed around. She's been fantastic as a 19-year-old in the league. Looks completely comfortable playing at that level. I think you've got Ashley Sanchez, Andy Sullivan. You look at, this U.S. team, they don't have a backup number 6. That was one of their problems coming into this tournament. Who is going to fill that void if Julie Ertz decides to bow out? I hope she doesn't. I still think she's that person that can carry the torch to the next generation, but we still need a backup there. I think Andy Sullivan is a player that they're going to need to look at. And then when you look at this tournament, I know Carly Lloyd got 2 goals today. I know Alex Morgan had 1, but we did not have a number 9. And who is going to be that person? I don't think it's a Lynn Williams. I don't think she's the one that in 2 years will hold that position. I think you maybe have to look younger. Look at a Kelsey Turnbow, who's going to be a senior in college at Santa Clara University, just won the NCAA championship, but she looks like one of those strikers like a Vivian Miedema that's lethal, that has that pace. So I think you've got to shake things up. I think Vlatko knows that. I think the program knows that. And I almost think winning this bronze gives them more leeway to go ahead and make those changes sooner than later.
All right, we're running out of time here, but quickly, you mentioned Vlatko. What did we learn from him? We anticipate he'll be able to see this through?
Yeah, I do. I think in most cases, if you don't accomplish the goal, which was to win gold, the coach sees himself out, or the program tells him that he will see himself out. But I think, with Wagner, I think it's a 60-40 that he stays in charge and that his job is not yet done. The players absolutely love playing for him. They all say that they've taught them things that they've never heard before from managers individually to make their game better. We didn't see it in this tournament, though, and that is a cause for concern. And tactically, I think we got outmatched in a few of these occasions. So I do think they need to take a hard look at whether he is the right man going forward. But I'm a fan of what he's done, and I think he stays.
Not easy filling the shoes of Jill Ellis, 2-time World Cup winner. But Ali Wagner saying 60-40 for Vlatko Andonovski. Ali, certainly appreciate it. Thank you for the insight throughout this tournament, the Summer Games in Tokyo. This will also be talked about. I know for sure they taped it about an hour ago, the Attacking Third podcast, everything when it comes to the women's national team. It's a tri-weekly soccer show, our newest addition to CBS Sports podcast family, Attacking Third with co-host Sandra Herrera and Lisa Roman.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.